Jason Nance. Becky Valerie Peacock. Vicki Wilson. Here. Cheryl Taylor West. Here. Sam Pierce. Here. All are present. We have a quorum.
Eternal God, I pray that you bless us in this meeting and keep us. Lord, make your face shine on us and be gracious to us. I pray that you feel your presence during the meeting because you are with us wherever we go. I pray that this meeting focuses upon you and your plans for us as a body of believers. Let our actions in this meeting be available to our aim, which is to build up and edify one another. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Time these. Public comments and receipt of petitions. At this time, anyone will be allowed to speak on any matter other than personnel matters, any matter not specifically listed for public hearing elsewhere on the agenda, or matters under litigation for a length of time not to exceed 4 minutes. No council, board discussion, or action may take place on a matter until such matter has been placed on an agenda and posted in accordance with the law, Texas Government Code Section 551.042. Zach Camlin. State your name and your address, please.
Push the little button on there, please. I'm so sorry. There you go.
Can you hear me now? Zach Hamlin, 407 North Brazos Street. And I just want to read you something real quick. It won't take much of your time. Good evening, council members, and thank you for allowing me to speak with you during tonight's meeting. My name is Zach Hamlin, and I am officially announcing my candidacy for mayor of the city of Whitney, Texas. Me, my wife Tiffany, and our 4 children, Jayla, Jamonte, Jameson, and Jasmine, moved here from Waco, Texas 2.5 years ago with the goal of settling down in a community where we heard lots of great things about. Since then, I have become a part of the WWFL Youth Sports Organization to help our youth athletes find confidence and enjoyment through various sports activities. I am a member of Whitney Masonic Lodge number 355 as well as an avid supporter of our school district. I enjoy giving back to the community and hope to do so as your mayor starting April 2nd for early voting as well as Election Day, May 3rd. Reasons for campaigning. 1, lower taxes. I do believe that we can get them lower. I believe that we can find more cost-effective solutions when allocating city funds to combat rising tax rates and maybe even lower them. There are better ways to improve the city of Whitney. We just have to work a little harder to find them. By doing so, we can relieve the citizens of Whitney of some of the financial burdens they face year to year. Most of our streets within the city limits need serious repair, and the citizens in our community shouldn't have to worry about damaging their vehicles during their daily commutes. The city is steadily growing, and we need to make sure that current and incoming residents feel comfortable when leaving and returning to their homes. We also need to continue to address the sewer system throughout the city. All citizens need to feel confident that they will always have clean running water and don't have to boil it for daily use. I plan to work diligently with our city department heads to ensure that we find the best solutions to improve our infrastructure. Also, I strongly believe that the citizens in this community should have the autonomy to make home improvement decisions on their homes without having to receive permission from the city to do so. What a homeowner does inside or outside of their home is none of the city's business as long as it does not pose a threat to other homeowners or their property and doesn't obstruct the view of incoming and ongoing traffic. Citizens have the right to privacy on their property, and it shouldn't be infringed upon just because the city wants to make a few bucks on a permit. For example, if someone wants to build a privacy fence and are willing to purchase the materials and perform the labor themselves, I don't see the point in them having to purchase a $75 permit to be able to do so. This city is not an HOA, and citizens shouldn't have to have the city's okay to purchase paint to make their homes look better. Let's give the citizens private property rights back to them and stop micromanaging every decision they make about their homes. In conclusion, if elected, I will devote myself to giving the community a city administration they can trust and believe has their best interest at heart, a city council that takes their concerns and ideas into consideration before making decisions that will impact their daily lives. And I will work diligently with our city officials to continue making Whitney, Texas, a place our citizens can be proud to call home. Thank you for your time.
Sims?
Good evening. Name is George Sims, 703 West Lee Street. I'm here to talk about the hopefully y'all passing the taxes. What's it called? The homestead exemption tax. I was kind of shocked when I retired and I moved back down here to find out that it did no good to have a homestead exemption. You don't even get a break for it. I thought that was just a law, so I was really shocked. But now I see why some people that have a little more knowledge about it don't move into the city limits. They all seem to go right to the outskirts. Number one, to avoid taxes altogether, but now I see why they get no tax benefit from being here. So hopefully I encourage y'all to at least pass that. The taxes have gone up on me every year significantly since I've been here. I've been back for 5 years. I was born and raised here. Well, I wasn't born here, but I was raised here. I came back here wanting to come back to a small hometown where taxes were reasonable. Besides the taxes going up, I don't see any improvement in any of the infrastructure around here. The roads, like that gentleman said, are pathetic. Just going to my mom's house, who lives just on the other side of town, tears up my truck pretty much every time I go down it. The holes, some of them are at least 6 inches deep, and I'm hoping maybe y'all can find some money. But anyway, that's basically all I had to say. Thank you.
Gregory?
Madam Mayor, City Council members, and residents of City of Whitney. I'm going to be up here kissing this thing like it's my husband because I can't hear anybody when they talk up here. So if I'm too loud, you'll just have to tell me. I just want to commend you on bringing to the agenda property taxes for the City of Whitney with some possible exemptions that we haven't had. I get the privilege, which isn't wonderful, of seeing widows evicted, veterans evicted, and families evicted because taxes have gone up and they aren't able to pay for them with the insurance and everything else. So as a real estate broker, it really hurts my heart when agents that have been under my license have had to do that. And they have been very patient in spite of banks ordering them to do it. I just want to say thank you. I know we have been speaking about this for the last few weeks because we wanted to see homestead exemptions inside the City of Whitney. So I just commend you for doing what needs to be done on this item. Thank you so much.
Kilbrew? Now.
I'm Tom Killebrew, 608 Bush Drive. I'm glad you're pushing this to the agenda, and I hope we soon come to a vote on it and to do the Homestead Act and to where it actually comes to fulfillment to where we can get some relief from the Homestead Act. We appreciate that, and I don't know why it's continually going on, but I appreciate that we come to an ending of it. Thank you very much.
Hi guys, Amy Teal, talking taxes again. I love election season. It's when you get elected to actually start doing things about your tax bills. So remember that, guys, later this year when they're adopting the tax rate. On the City of Whitney TX.org website, we can read the notice at the bottom that says 2024 to 2025 tax rate. City of Whitney adopted a tax rate that will raise more taxes for maintenance and operations than last year's tax rate. The tax rate will effectively be raised by 718.7694% and will raise taxes for maintenance and operations on a $100,000 home by approximately $102.80. Now, I do understand that the tax rate did not increase by 718%, but it was still an increase on people whose taxes were already too high. And if I've got the math wrong, and that is a 700% increase, I would appreciate the council correcting that. These new city-specific property tax breaks are a great next step in reducing the tax burden on people and modeling do not covet your neighbor's money. But I am urging everyone who will be here later this year reviewing the next budget and proposed tax rates to find ways to adopt a total tax rate decrease to help the small businesses, renters, and others who won't get to feel the impact of this relief. According to the city's website, the median household income in Whitney is $37,000. $37,000. Raise your hand if you would be willing to accept a paycheck every year of $37,000 and then share how you would want your electeds to spend that extra $100 that they took from you on top of what you're already paying. People just can't afford these ever-increasing tax bills. So, yes, I am absolutely in favor of adopting a tax rate decrease for these legally allowed demographics. Do not stop there. Don't stop there, and don't use it as an excuse to not lower the rate for everybody else later this year. Thanks.
Move on down to the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted in one motion. Should a council member desire discussion of any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Line item 6, act on approving the regular city council meeting minutes for the regular meeting on January 16, 2025, and for the special meeting on January 30th, 2025. Line item 7, act on approving the City of Whitney expense reports and register reports for January 2025.
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Department reports. Department of Emergency Services.
Honorable Mayor, council members, appreciate the time. January was a pretty busy month for us. We ended up running on the EMS side. We ran 59 calls, 47 were in the city, 12 was in the county covering mutual aid for CareFlight. CareFlight actually did come in and mutual aid us while we were on other calls 3 times that month. Our average response time for in the city was 5 minutes, and our average response time out in the county was 11 minutes. And that's from the time you get the dispatch to the time that we're on scene. So we had an average shoot time from getting the call to the ambulance was about 2 minutes. So on the fires, we ran 92 calls. 7 fire calls were in the city, 12 fire calls were in the county. We also ran 25 first responder calls in the city and 48 first responder calls in the county. I also added these graphs to kind of show you, kind of see the uptick of the call volume from November, December, and January. So it's just getting busier and busier. So I did not put in this report, but I also wanted you to know that we did do 3 certificate of occupancy inspections in January as well for new businesses. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Oh.
Montez and the company bought that. There was the auto place right up here, and then Wayland did a third one, but I don't remember what that business was.
Thank you. Police report.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council. In January, services, motor vehicle crashes, several medical instances, 3 arrests, along with 53 traffic stops, resulting in a total of, thank you. Total of 76 citations and warnings. We did have a pretty exciting call last month. Was Whitney PD responded to a burglary in progress. Ended up being at a residence here. Officers responded pretty quickly and got the suspect in custody. And then, of course, he's sitting in Hill County Jail now. So I was able to also attend and was invited to the Aquila ISD. They decided to do a coffee with the cops kind of thing. Got a bunch of us together throughout the county. It actually turned out pretty well. I think there was quite a few of us. I want to say almost 30 of us that were there with all these students in the morning. Hoping here soon to get something like that going here in our city as well. Maybe on different days because of all the different schools. So we're also currently working a lot of investigations with CPS right now. I don't know what the influx has been, but it's a lot of physical and sexual abuse cases that we're working, which is kind of occupying our time right now. Our conditional offers of employment were offered to the officers from last month's meeting. Both of them have accepted and have already started their initial roles in field training and doing quite well. Also, I included in the packets for you guys is the 2024 annual racial profiling report. It's required for me by law to provide that to you to review. And basically it should be the profiling report that's in there and analysis. And I think that was about it for January. So
Thank you.
all right, and I got Drew here for code enforcement for you.
Good evening. Last month in January, it's been kind of slow around this time of the season for code enforcement side. We had a total of 22 cases. 11 of those are still currently open. 11 of those have been closed. A majority of that revolves around animal control side. On the animal side, we had 14 dogs at large last month, and we impounded 14 animals. Out of those 14 animals, we had 3 that were still remained in our care by the end of January. As it sits right now, we still have 4 dogs that are in our care. For the code enforcement side, the only case that was open on the code enforcement side was the junk, trash, and debris. And then it's kind of picked up from there. So it's starting to pick back up, but like I said, it's getting slow around this time of the year. So
Thank you. Public Works.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For January, we had 4 water leaks. One you probably all seen on Facebook. We had a nice water feature. Our special projects, we're going to be covering that later. I'll leave that one alone for right now. Under our city parks, we have equipment and manpower scheduled to help with the Lions Club. They've planned a cleanup day for our little pocket park, as everybody wants to call it now, which will be on the 22nd if anybody's interested. And for after hours calls, we had 7 sewers calls and 13 water calls. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Library report. I'm going to take a quick minute right here to introduce Christy Rogers to you guests here today. She is our new library director.
Thank you all very much. As you know, I've been interim library director since October, and again, big shoes to fill. I appreciate the opportunity and the opportunity to serve this community. Citizens, Council, Madam Mayor, in January, as you just heard, we're working with a full staff for the first time in a couple of probably 3 or 4 months. We welcomed an average of 46 visitors per day, issued 71% more library cards than last month. We saw a 400% increase in our Facebook followers. That's a big number I'm super excited about because that means people are seeing things that are happening at the library and they're attending. Ebook usage has grown by 23%, while physical books remain in high demand, with 1,300 physical items currently on loan. But beyond the numbers, connections happen every day at the library. We're evolving to meet the community needs with exciting new programs like Story Stretchers, which is a free family yoga, with a local business, Lake Whitney Yoga. We had late night at the library puzzle races, and I will tell you that the team who won that had finished a 350-piece puzzle in 61 minutes. And my team only had the outside done. I think I need a new partner, but I won't put that person, and it wasn't John. He would probably have done better. And now, starting last Friday, we have a free 3-part Tai Chi series. So there'll be Tai Chi tomorrow night, again free, with another local business in town donating their time and efforts, Lone Star Healing Arts. Tomorrow afternoon, we're hosting a resume workshop with Workforce Solutions that is helping locals build skills and find new opportunities. This will be followed up with a job fair in April. These numbers and these programs paint a clear picture that our library is growing and adapting. And if you don't have any questions, I'll see you at the library.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Regular agenda, line item 8, deliberate, enact, or give guidance on a citizen's agenda request for placing a street light at the intersection of Washington Street and San Jacinto Avenue. The Whitney Urgent Care will outline the clinic needs.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Let me do that all again. Hi, it's me again. So, to give you all a perspective, if you're looking at our building, you have the ambulance bay side, and then on the opposite side of that, you have unfortunately 20,000 square feet of unoccupied building. It's already a great target for danger, I'd say. So, of course, for myself, I put in security cameras, motion security cameras, to do what I can to protect the building. On the outside of it, as Whitney PD will know, we've had actually a couple of months bout of homeless who are constantly camping in the underground parkway. So it has caused a couple of problems. We've already added from ourselves motion security lights to try to help it. Whitney PD has also tried to help by setting up a nightly patrol. Nonetheless, especially with the way that the building is tucked and just the lack of light out there, it's still a very good draw for homeless. In an effort to protect the street, the pieces that are in there, we'd already talked to Texas, New Mexico, and they do have a light pole right across and actually a pole on that property that they said they could wire into to be able to add a light. So back and forth with them, it apparently becomes a city ground to be able to approve of a light from what I understand, and then they can actually go and implement it. So the ask is if we can wire into the existing infrastructure to put a light and at least give more brightness and protect the assets of that area.
Council, so I don't know, I'm sure you saw on Facebook, but we recently had a meeting with TNMP. This was one of the items that we discussed at length. It is up to the council to designate a street light and where it is. There's no cost for the install. The city will just pay for whatever it costs monthly for that light to be in service. They did mention that if the infrastructure will not support the light, that they will send an engineering team out, design whatever they need to design, and then they will let the city know what that looks like under no obligation to the city. At that point, we can say yes or no, if it's going to cost us anything out of pocket. But they seem to think that they'd be able to get something in there. And this, again, is at the very end of Washington, right by San Jacinto, by the old diner area. So it is very dark there.
Yes.
Craig. Thank you.
Line item 9, deliberate and act on a professional services compensation agreement between the City of Whitney and Baker Opportunity Properties LLC.
All right, council, so as you heard last month, we have a developer wanting to develop 70 acres in the city's ETJ, currently with the possibility of annexation. That's very highly likely. So what we're wanting to do here is we've never done this before. This is something that I want to establish going forward. When we have a developer come in the past, the city has eaten the costs for professional services, meaning engineering services, legal fees, anything that developer needed to make that development go, as far as development agreements, contracts, or anything, the city's had to incur that cost. We're doing something different now because we are being better stewards of money, and we're going to establish a development agreement, professional services agreement with Baker Opportunities, in which he will deposit money into an account for the city. It stays there, it's locked in that account, and any of these professional services will then come out of that, and he gets an itemized bill. If it reaches below a certain money level, he has to bring it back up to the top end. So this way the city doesn't have to pay for engineering services, any legal fees, or anything that's professional services related comes out of his pocket.
We do.
Aye.
Thank you. Line item 10, deliberate and act on a resolution 2025-0201 of the City of Whitney, Texas, authorizing professional services provider selection for hazard migration assistant program funded through the Texas Division of Emergency Management, TDM, and or Texas Water Development Board, TWDB.
So we've talked about this before. We've gone through this process with GrantWorks has submitted everything we have to do, where we go through and we evaluate everybody in point scales, just like we do for grants. We, as the committee, selected GrantWorks to go forward as our procurement person. So basically what happens is if there's funds released for disasters or anything like flood mitigation like that, we have them for 3 years as our administrator, and we don't have to go through this whole process. We have the option to renew it for 2 more years. So for 5 years total, I guess these things are just going to go out. So for 5 years total, we can have GrantWorks for our administrator. So we don't have to go through the RFP process. We don't have to go through all the things, and we can immediately use them to get any funds available. So this is just a resolution designating GrantWorks as that administrator.
May I make a comment real quick? Of course, y'all know that water quality is extremely important to me, very passionate about it, having worked in that line of work 13 years. So I'm going to make a recommendation that we go forward with the assistance program for the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay. Okay.
All in favor?
Line item 11, deliberate and act on an ordinance 2025-0201, amending Chapter 7 Municipal Court Article 7.02, Judge, to provide for an associate judge.
Council, if you remember about a year or so ago, we redid our ordinance pertaining to our municipal judge. But one thing that we failed to look at that time was the appointment of an associate municipal judge. So what that means is if our municipal judge has to recuse himself or is unavailable to act, we have nobody in that stead. So this ordinance changes that to where we can appoint a municipal judge. Judge Deton has somebody that he's already vetted and would like to move forward with, but we have to change this ordinance first before we can do that.
I'll make a motion that we approve amending Chapter 7.
All in favor?
Line item 12, deliberate and act on a professional service agreement with Westwood Professional Services, Inc. to submit a project information form to the Texas Water Development Board for funding from the state revolving fund and authorizing the mayor to execute the same.
So there's two new ones that you have on your table. At the time of your packet release, legal hadn't had the chance to review it. This has gone through legal now. And what you have in front of you is the revised version that both Westwood and our legal department have gone through.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
And I just want, there are two that you have in front of you. I just need to, this is point of order, but there's two in front of you. One of them comes from the state revolving clean water drinking, and the other one is the, I think it's the safe water. But there's two different funds that we're applying for, and it's, I just need you to know, we've already got the grant on our way for streets and drainage. This is gonna be used for water and sewer projects. This comes out of the state revolving fund. I'm sorry, Mayor, I didn't.
That's okay. So we have a motion. Was there a second?
I'll second, and I'm completely in support of water and sewer.
Thank you.
quality.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Line item 13, deliberate and act on ordinance 2025-0202, amending Chapter 11, taxation to add Article 11.7, property taxes to establish a resident homestead exemption and residence homestead exemption for disabled individuals or individuals age 65 or older.
I make a motion that, we amend chapter 11 taxation.
Can I question, ask a question on this? So is there a possibility to have a dual, like they can have both? Also just a regular extension?
It would be whichever one's higher, and the applications have to go through the tax office. The city won't handle this. It's important, and one of the reasons that we're putting this on right now is, and it's important that you know this, you need to get your applications in for homestead exemptions by May the 1st, I believe it is, through the county. So we're trying to get this so you can get that filed for next year. This will give the, a regular homestead exemption of $5,000 and the 65 and older or disabled at $10,000. The city has always had, by state law, given the tax breaks for veterans, disabled veterans, surviving spouses. That's state law. But this is something that we haven't done, which is homestead.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Line item 14, deliberate, act, or provide guidance on extending an employment offer for one police officer applicant.
Well, hello again.
Hello.
All right, so for the first time, I want to say I don't know how long. I've been here almost 2 years now with this last tenure, and prior to that, I don't know when we've actually had a full police staff. And so I have one last remaining position, and of course all the applicants that we've had narrowed down to Ms. Christine Holt, who currently works for Texas CPS, Department of Family and Protective Services. She's a special investigator with them, but also has many years of other investigative skills that she could bring to our agency and to our community. And I think she'd be an excellent asset for us to have and fill that last spot. And I'm just basically asking council's approval to offer her a recommendation for employment. So. She is not here. No, ma'am.
I make a motion that we, extend our offer of employment.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Executive session. If during the course of the meeting covered by this notice, the city council should determine that a closed or executive meeting or session of the city council or consultation with the attorney for the city should be held or is required, then such closed or executive meeting or session or consultation with the attorney is authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.001, etc., will be held by the city council at the date, hour, and place given in this notice, as the city council may conveniently meet in such closed or executive meeting or session, or consult with the attorney for the city concerning any and all subjects and for any and all purposes permitted by the act, including but not limited to the following sections and purposes. Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney. Texas Government Code Section 551072, discussion, purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. We'll go into executive session at 6:35.
Your phone. I need batteries for the microphone.
Come out of executive session at 6:54 p.m. Line item 15, deliberate and act if necessary on executive session items.
I make a motion that we authorize the mayor to go ahead and, act on the sale of the property of ID 107699 and 107700.
All in favor?
At 6:54. Get out of here.